Baltimore, Maryland, December 16, quarterback Jameis Winston. Photo by Todd Olszewski, Getty Images. NFL free agency is about to get started, but the Ravens have already gotten a lot done. The Ravens made an early move to end the Joe Flacco era in Baltimore. Flacco was traded to the Denver Broncos for a fourth-round pick, a move that won't become official until the NFL league year begins later this week. It's now Lamar Jackson's team. Whether you like it or not, the Ravens are handing the keys to a young quarterback, and now they have to build an offense around him. One move that should help Jackson in the offense is the re-signing of Nick Boyle. According to reports, Boyle got a 3-year deal worth $18 million. That may seem like a lot of money for a primarily blocking tight end, but he's a big part of the offense. Boyle is one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, and the Ravens' ground-and-pound style will see him on the field quite a bit. The Ravens have made two moves that relate to their defensive backfield. The first move was fairly straightforward. The Ravens signed Tavon Young to an extension, rewarding him for being one of the better nickel cornerbacks in football. The second move was releasing veteran safety Eric Weddle. This gave the Ravens a healthy dose of cap space. Weddle, who is 34, quickly found a new home with the Los Angeles Rams. Want your voice heard? Join the Ebony Bird team. Write for us. The Ravens also cut Michael Crabtree, leaving themselves very thin at wide receiver. The move was justifiable though. Crabtree led the NFL in drop passes. There is no more fitting word than frustrating that describes Crabtree's time in Baltimore. Finally, the Ravens have reportedly placed second-round tenders on Patrick Onwuezer and Michael Pierce. This means that the Ravens have the right to match any contract offer to either player. If either player is swept away by another team, the Ravens would receive a second-round pick. Unless something unforeseen happens, this means that both players will be wearing purple and black next season. Next, the Ravens' top free agents page 2 Baltimore, MD, November 18, inside linebacker C.J. Mosley. Photo by Patrick Smith, Getty Images. C.J. Mosley. C.J. Mosley is the biggest name on the list of Ravens free agents this offseason. Baltimore elected not to place the franchise tag on Mosley, and has stayed in the sweepstakes to sign him. Mosley is one of the most desirable free agents on the market, and bringing him back is not even close to a guarantee. The Ravens want to bring back Mosley, but they will wait to see if the market allows that to happen at a number they are comfortable with. Darius Smith. It is very hard to envision a future where Smith comes back to the Ravens. He is an up-and-coming pass rusher coming off a good season. Pass rushers make a lot of money in the NFL because it is considered a premium position. Smith has a chance for a huge payday. Several of the top pass rushers that would have become free agents have been hit with the franchise tag. Smith isn't at the top of the free agent crop, but he isn't too far down the list. Terrell Suggs. Ravens football without Terrell Suggs would just feel weird, because he's been here since 2003. Suggs could come back, but it isn't a given. He wants to retire a Raven. Eric DeCosta wants the same thing. The numbers have to work out for the Ravens, and they don't want to make an emotionally charged decision. Suggs offers valuable leadership and was productive last season, though his productivity waned in the back half of the season. From free agency, John Brown. Brown is a valuable deep threat that the Ravens may want to bring back. Brown's production basically died when Lamar Jackson took over the starting quarterback job, but that doesn't mean he's not a good fit for the Ravens. Baltimore played it conservatively with Jackson's throwing last year, and they will have to open up the offense. Brown can stretch the field, but he is likely gone as the Ravens rebuild the receiver position yet again. Robert Griffin III. The Ravens signed Griffin III to a one-year deal, and now they probably want him back. He is a good backup quarterback, and he fits in perfectly as a mentor to Jackson. Griffin III probably doesn't have a better opportunity in the NFL than backing up Jackson. Brent Urban. Urban is an unsung hero for the Ravens, but he's developed into a very good defensive lineman. It's not the end of the world if he moves on, but he fits in perfectly up front for the Ravens defense. Next, potential free agent targets. Page 3. Kansas City, Mo. October 15th, running back Le'Veon Bell. Photo by Peter Aiken, Getty Images. Le'Veon Bell. This is the potential move that is generating the most conversation. Bell is one of the best running backs in football, coming off a year in which he sat out due to a contract dispute with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bell's motivation to come to Baltimore is self-explanatory: he wants to get revenge on Pittsburgh. Running back is an area the Ravens are expected to add to this offseason, with Gus Edwards and Kenneth Dixon being talented but unproven backs. Don't expect this to happen, but there has been a lot of smoke. Maybe there is fire. Mark Ingram. Ingram would be a more affordable running back. He's not quite the superstar that Bell is, but he could be a difference maker for the Ravens. Baltimore signing Ingram would be a good move, because it would add a proven player to Greg Roman's run game. Tyrann Mathieu. Mathieu would be the perfect replacement for Weddle. Mathieu is a free safety who has a well-rounded skill set and fits well into the Ravens' defense. This is a move that makes so much sense it's almost too much sense. Mathieu was a former teammate of Tony Jefferson with the Arizona Cardinals. Bringing in Mathieu would make quite the reunion in the Ravens secondary. Tyrod Taylor. Taylor left the Ravens to become the Buffalo Bills' starting quarterback. This offseason could see him return to Baltimore as Jackson's backup. John Harbaugh is obviously comfortable with Taylor as a backup quarterback, and he'd be a good backup behind Jackson. Taylor is a proven quarterback. He can come in and win if his name is called. This makes sense as backup quarterback is an under-talked-about need in Baltimore. Mitch Morse. Morse is a center from the Kansas City Chiefs, who makes perfect sense for the Ravens. He is a veteran player who has started every game for the Chiefs since he was their second-round pick in 2015. They don't get much more dependable than Morse, and he would be a seismic-sized upgrade for the interior of the Ravens' offensive line. Page 4. Use your arrows to browse Denver, CO, August 18th, running back Royce Freeman. Photo by Dustin Bradford, Getty Images. Matt Parody. Parody is another option at the center position. Parody is a quality player, but he is coming off a major leg injury from last season. Parody became one of the better offensive linemen in the league as a member of the Denver Broncos. He would bring a lot of toughness to Baltimore's offensive line. Golden Tate. Tate is a 30-year-old receiver, something the Ravens have never shied away from in free agency. Tate is a very dependable player with great hands. Tate could become a receiver that Jackson could lean on. One thing is for sure, Tate is a beacon of productivity, which is something Baltimore cannot overlook. Malik Jackson. The Ravens need all the pass rush they can get, and Jackson became available when the Jaguars released him. Jackson is an explosive defensive end with length and a history of being productive. He has 32 career sacks, and when healthy he's a player that can live in the backfield and help the defense. Justin Houston. Speaking of pass rushers, the Ravens need to seriously consider bringing in Justin Houston. Houston is one of the best pass rushers in football, and he's coming off a 9-sack season. Houston could be an upgrade at the outside linebacker position that could make the Ravens scary. Next, how the Ravens can replace Eric Weddle. There are a ton of options for the Ravens, and this is just a sample of those options. Baltimore hasn't had an offseason that is this question-filled and exciting in a long time. Eric DeCosta is about to get his first taste of the free agency period, and it's a high-stakes moment for the Ravens. Keep it locked into Ebony Bird. We have you covered. Use your arrows to browse.